Hey, Crispy Brown here, coming to you with another vlog live from the Hampton Inn in the Show Me State. Giving you a break from those ugly curtains tonight, and we're coming to you with this nice yellow door behind us, so give you something new to look at. I'm happy to have my first guest on tonight. His name is Kris. We are friends outside of work, and this is actually the third project we've worked on together. And Kris does the ambulatory side of the EHR, so I wanted to kind of get him on tonight and pick his brain. If it wasn't for him, I really wouldn't know the ambulatory workflow. So now I know both acute or inpatient and ambulatory, and I feel like there's been a big push to make ambulatory electronic the last couple of years, and there's not a lot of people out there in this business that have really done a lot of ambulatory work. Yeah. So I think it's good for people to hear. And so Kris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 16 years. Well, I was a floor nurse for 16 years, and then I got into IT about 6 years ago. I've been an analyst for 5 years, and then been a traveling consultant for a couple years here, and just really enjoying helping sites out, bringing up new electronic medical records on the ambulatory side. So my nursing experience was all inpatient, so I was very familiar with all those workflows. And then when I was hired as an analyst, I switched over to ambulatory, which I knew nothing about, so I quickly had to learn, and picked it up pretty quick.
Yeah, I could vouch for him. He does pick it up pretty quick, and it's one thing I like about working with him. It's gets the job done. So, what do you look for in a good ambulatory EHR?
Yeah, so obviously, with any EHR, but especially on the ambulatory side, you want to be able to capture that visit from beginning to end. Everything that you're doing with that patient, because if you didn't document it, it wasn't done. And then integration is another big piece that we look for with any ambulatory EHR. And it's very hard with the smaller independent EHRs that are out there that people are switching away from now, because they don't integrate with larger inpatient systems. They were built separately just for the doctor's offices. Yeah, and they don't talk to those inpatient EHRs. So that's why I'm very excited to be working with Expanse right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. What are the major differences you see between an acute EHR and an ambulatory EHR? Or are there any, I guess maybe is a better question.
Well, that's a very good question. With the acute EHR, it was built, to capture that visit from beginning to end. With the ambulatory side, originally it wasn't built that way. They built part of it to capture the billing side, and they still did all their documentation on paper for a long time, until the government made it mandatory that they start capturing it through the electronically.
And whatnot, yep.
Yeah, and so and now, since it's mandatory, they places have combined some of that, but it just doesn't talk to each other very well. So that's the biggest difference, and you don't have that with Expanse now.
Very well integrated, right?
Yeah.
And there's still some strides to be made there, but leaps and bounds over the client server product.
There's
and even the
one billing system.
Yeah.
You got ED, acute, and ambulatory, and there's one billing system. It all goes out through BAR now.
It does, and RCG, whatever you call it. But drop-down menu switch you between all three EHRs, which I really think is smooth. So, can you talk about PDOC a little bit, like what you look for or what you like?
Yeah, so with PDOC, you look for concise queries. You want to keep them short, but to the point. You don't want to be duplicating queries or responses, right? Because you don't need a positive and negative response, words, because you can just cross them out, and that's your negative response form. So you want to keep it short, because that's what providers look for. The less clicks, the better.
Yeah, they count them.
And then you just want to, before you even start to build in PDOC, you want to go with a provider preferably and go over their workflow and decide what they really want to see in that documentation before you build it.
Yeah.
Because without their input, they pick it apart, and you've done all this work for no reason, and they hate it. But if they have that input, they seem to be really pleased.
You kind of buy into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would say that about the whole EHR, really. Plan it before you build it.
Yeah.
That way you're not redoing stuff.
Exactly.
So, I know you touched a little bit on Expanse, but anything else that you'd really kind of like to talk about? Or
on this project, I'm grateful to be here, because it is one complete EHR. It's totally integrated. Before, you had to have the two billing modules, like I was talking about.
It didn't talk real well.
It didn't.
Even the clinical side of it didn't
Two
really talk
places you
real
had to
well.
even look for results sometimes.
Yep.
You know.
Trying to figure out workarounds on how you're going to get that over to the other side.
Right.
Yep.
And now the three biggest benefits I think with Expanse is number one, the integrated problem list. So that problem list is shared between acute, ED, ambulatory. Number two is MedRec. Is going to be
right up my alley.
Yeah. You love those words.
Yeah, no, I don't want to say love. That's a strong word, but
and then it's just a complete record.
Yeah.
So
like that.
yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on, being my first guest.
Appreciate you inviting
nice
me, man.
to have you. So,
yeah.
With that, I want to sign out and just want to remind you to be kind, be careful, and always choose joy.
Always choose joy.